Welcome to the Two Alphas Talk. Today we'll discuss firearm ownership and the Second Amendment. Remember, we're live and unscripted.
That was interesting.
I know,
Did it hang
right?
up on you?
Not yet, no, but it
Yeah,
was it
okay.
was it was slow.
Right. It was very
Unmute me. I was about to start. Now I'm looking and like green light,
right.
please. Yeah. So did
Well,
did I? You go ahead. Go ahead.
go.
Tonight's topic, firearms ownership and the Second Amendment, is basically,
Got
we
to
got a
do it.
lot of things going on right now. We're going to touch on more than just this topic that you see, and everybody who's tuning in is probably wondering, and they may even ask about it. But this is a good opportunity to segue into our sponsor, Saber Team Tactical, and training, training, training. Prepare yourself now for the inevitable. Um, we offer training, and we're both experienced trainers with a lot of experience. You can look up our bios on the website and you see it. But we offer basic firearms training. We offer one-on-one training. We have courses that we have from rifle courses to pistol marksmanship. We'll get you straight. Self-defense. Anything that you can do with a firearm, we can help you get better.
And with that, you can also go to the online store. If you click right here, online store, it takes you to the online store where you can get custom engraving. You have to contact me personally if you don't see anything you like. I don't have everything up here posted that I do, but I do have a lot of stuff. Saber Team swag. If you need any swag, let me know. There's stuff up here. Contact me through via website or on the page. We have um, from mace to body armor, plate carriers, and ballistic helmets, and the personal injury kits. If you need any medical supplies, get all supplies that come from a medical supply shop in North Carolina. All
Not
right,
China.
not China.
Wish.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
So also too before that are we're live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. This is we have a call-in number 404-692-0561. If you're on those pages, please like, subscribe, and share.
It helps a lot, guys. Really.
Yeah.
I didn't believe all that stuff, so I until we start doing this, and then I see how much it actually helps. So now when I'm on YouTube, I'm liking and subscribing to everybody. It don't matter, and it's free, and you don't run out of subscribes. You don't run out of likes. Just if somebody's putting content out and you have one iota of liking it, just like it, subscribe to it, even if you never come back. I mean, it helps people who are putting content out not only for their ratings and the algorithms and all the little data that's being collected, but also to show other people that there's a following, and then it also helps us, gives our little ego to say, keep going on. We get comments from a dedicated 5. Then we started our dedicated 1. Now we got almost dedicated 10. I get people calling me, telling me how they like the show and they've seen it and they watch it. They're working or not able to get on and watch us live, but they like the content. So we keep doing it, and we're just two guys. That guy over there, he's doing all the ticket tech stuff, and I'm the backup guy.
I'm at
And
the range right now, so I'm
yeah, you're at the range, okay, the virtual range,
yeah, I'm at
right?
the range. Yeah.
You just hanging out at the range.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I live out here.
right, exactly. So, but yeah, we're just two guys with an opinion, and we bake, back our opinions up with facts. We research things, we pay attention to what's going on, and we just have a point of view, guys.
All right. You go ahead and go with the show.
Well, the firearm ownership in the Second Amendment basically revolves around something that I saw a few days ago, and it's like there's a lot of people out there that own firearms, but not are not Second Amendment proponents. And what I mean by that is, just because you own a gun doesn't mean that you are willing to defend the Second Amendment. And by defending the Second Amendment, I don't mean show up to rallies. I don't mean um, even marching on anybody. But what I'm talking about is your voting power and which way you decide to cast the votes in elections and who you put into office. That's the key. And I know we probably get a little bit of flack on this one, but that's what's going on. That's what the Second Amendment needs. We need people who stand up for it, and we definitely need all those folks that stand up and go to rallies, and those people who organize the rallies. So all of our organizations that stand up and take a stand for the Second Amendment. That's it. If we do not stand up for it, it's going to go away. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and you have to ask yourself, what do the Second Amendments? What is it? What do it mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, it's freedom because the Second Amendment is also tied to the Constitution. And a lot of people don't realize the United States is not a democracy. We are a republic. And they made this a republic to get away from the king's uh, democracy of England. And so by doing that, they established this constitution in the United States. And they made it so we have the right to bear arms. Now, if you notice, all the countries that don't have a constitution of for the Second Amendment in
Right.
their
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
country, the right to bear arms, those people are all subject to be. They were doing everything they could to those people to segregate them, put them in jail, and do anything you want to do. For instance, the truckers in
Canada.
um, Canada,
Mm-hmm.
when they tried to protest, we see all what happened to them. They got rounded up, put in jail, and their bank accounts got seized. Look what happened to Australia. Australia is still under lockdown for more than what, almost 3 years now, and and
Mm-hmm.
no, no.
No, no, I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
And those people were put in camps, and they have no freedom. They don't even have a First Amendment where they can
Right.
actually talk freely like we can here.
And that's the difference between being a subject and being a citizen.
Right. And so the Second Amendment is very important. And so for a
It
lot of you
protects all
guys,
the other ones.
right. And yeah. And so it gives the people the last resort of self-preservation to keep a solvent country solvent and to protect their republic. And by any means, it's not just
Mm-hmm.
for hunting or personal defense, it's actually for a bigger cause. And the cause is for something that will take your rights and freedoms away. And so you have to have that Second Amendment in order to do that. Now, a lot of people say, well, the Second Amendment is old and outdated. It was built when wrote when those guys had flintlocks,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't need a AR, which doesn't make a difference. You know, a firearm is a firearm. It doesn't matter if it's a flintlock, a um, or a modern day firearm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a firearm. So don't try to say, it's outdated and we don't need, there's no need for a semi automatic, there's no need for an AR, there's a need for everything. And the rifles we have now, they're not, or the weapons, firearms we have now, they're not military firearms, they're military grade. And a lot of people don't understand what military grade means. Military grade means that it was made by the same specs that the military had and tolerance of that firearm, but they take out certain things to make that firearm not a 3 round burst firearm or not a fully automatic firearm.
Right. But the other thing that we also have to, other thing that we have to remember as well is that the Second Amendment is also related to the current times. Because if that was the case, then the First Amendment would only apply to people who write with quills. So everybody
Right.
that writes with a pen or a typewriter or computer would have no rights. And
Hmm.
another thing that I just want to throw out there before we get, as we go along with this, is the abortion rights, right? So it comes down to a constitutional right and all that stuff, right? Think about it. And I'm not trying to get into that debate, but that if that is repealed, could the Second Amendment be appealed?
Well, technically, the abortion right is not in the Constitution. Is no point where in there. So if it's changed, that was something that was placed in to be supposedly law on a federal level, but it's technically not. So if they reverse it, it goes back down to the states. So, but if you take the Second Amendment and pull it out of the Constitution itself, it doesn't go back down to the states. It because some states were just not even support any gun rights. They
Mm-hmm.
would be like, "Well, this is a no gun uh, state."
Right.
So
You
for
think
instance,
back to the Wild Wild West, and neither one of us. Well, you might have been there, but I wasn't there. And but think about it. Well, the movies we watch, and even the ones that are not necessarily based in history, you go to certain towns, and they said this is a no fire, no
yep.
handgun town, right?
Mhm.
That is what when you just said that, and I've heard it before. That's what it always reminds me of. Is some of these places, Dodge City. You go into Dodge City, and the sheriff is there, and you got to give your handgun or your pistols, your what's it called, 6 shooters or your smokestacks. You got to hand them over to the sheriff.
It-
That's the same thing. What will revert if it goes to different states? You travel, and you would have to disarm prior to go moving into that state.
well, it is that way in the states we have. But going back to that, the bigger who was a
Mm-hmm.
component of that? Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp was a component of taking the guys' guns when they came into the city. So
Mm-hmm.
he took their guns and locked them. If they didn't give them up, he knocked them out and took them.
Yep.
But go back to a state that's like that. You got New York. You
Mm-hmm.
can't even drive through New York or stop if you have a
Well, that's New
firearm.
Jersey.
Oh, that's New Jersey?
New Jersey, you can't go through New Jersey with a gun
Okay.
unless
All right.
you're on duty, military or law enforcement. Like on duty, not off duty. You have to
Right.
have some papers. You have the reason to travel through New Jersey while armed. And
And that's
I think if you're, they don't recognize nobody's um,
no,
license.
they don't. No.
So, but if you
There's no
do,
reciprocity.
even the officers going through there, there's certain hollow points that if you have hollow points with even police officers, there's certain ones that they have like no tolerance for. That I wish you would try to bring that through here. That
I
kind of
mean,
deal.
you'd be charged with a felony, isn't that right?
They've stopped officers and, you know, not necessarily arrest them, but detain them and make them go through all the conniptions of having like damn near the chief say, "Hey, that's my guy. He was headed to Connecticut or whatever the situation is," and in order to get these people out of there.
Hmm.
It's
Wow.
terrible.
Yeah, I know that. Even I thought it was even having a shell casing in your
Hmm.
car too. Same thing. If they
No,
stop.
I just thought about the other one. So HR 218, which is the LEOSA rights or
Hmm.
Law Enforcement Safety Act.
Hmm.
If you travel through New Jersey, you have to have, I think it's called Powerball, Power R um, ammunition, and it's a hollow point, but it has like a rubber or a plastic tip that covers the hollow point. That's the only one that they recognize, and the only reason you get through with it is because it technically is ball ammo since it doesn't have an opening. That's what it was.
That is stupid.
Yep.
That is actually stupid.
Yep. But that's basically when people who have no idea about guns make laws.
Right. Right. So you got to ask yourself, everybody that's listening, what what do you think this country would be like if we didn't have the Second Amendment? Because we almost lost it, all our rights, back since we me
94.
and Al. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Since we've both been alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I lived through that,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't want to see it no more. When I start seeing things come up, it reminds me of that.
Right.
So if you take a look at that I just sent you,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
this part right
it's
here,
you want? Yeah, I'm gonna put this on the screen. Hold on. You want it up?
yeah, please.
Okay. There you go.
All right. So if
Right.
we look
So
at
we
that,
look at that.
and it says the law has also changed. While states in the founding era regulated guns, blacks were often prohibited from possessing firearms, and militia weapons were frequently registered on government rolls. That is why you have the power today to vote, and you have to make that vote count. You have to pay attention to what you're doing when you are putting different people in office. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah, because
Because and you see that, and this is coming from you can see at the top up here is a Constitution Center.org. I look at these guys all the time, and when you see it, there's this substantial evidence that the privileges or immunity clause of the 14th Amendment was meant to protect the right of individuals to keep and bear arms from infringement by the states. The Supreme Court rejected this interpretation in U.S. versus this guy,
right,
Shack. See, that's 1876. So
right,
this is why we have to pay attention to what we do on a daily basis, and especially during this time of year when we have elections and we have people who literally come out and tell you that they would ban assault rifles. I don't know what
right,
that is, but I will
right,
ban AR-15s, and I will
right,
ban this, and I'll ban this ammunition and high
right,
capacity magazines. And then you get in bed with those people, and the next thing you know, you're getting you know what, and you wonder why. Don't get in bed with people if you don't want to get you know what.
right. And that goes for a lot of you new gun owners out there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you guys are sitting out here, and most of you guys are anti-gun to begin with,
Right. They
and you
don't know
go
that.
out and you go, yeah, you go out and buy a gun because you saw what happened during the summer of love, and when everything was burning, and you thought that the world was coming to an end, and you had to go out and buy a firearm, exercise your Second Amendment right to get a firearm and protect your family, even though you are against guns.
Mm-hmm.
But however, you're going to sit back and you're going to vote for a candidate who's actually whole purpose to become a candidate is to get rid of firearms.
Right.
And so that is the epitome of an oxymoron.
That's just a moron.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to the 10th degree.
Right.
And so you can't, it doesn't make sense how you want to support somebody like that and sit around and say, "Well, I got mine to protect my family." Then the first person they're gonna come is you,
Right.
and you're gonna be the first one that's gonna give it up to, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And
Unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, unfortunately, and probably be the one who's telling on everybody else who has them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the scary part is that there's so many people who don't realize who they are. Right. They don't realize themselves, but yet they'll stand there and tell us that, hey, I'm with you guys, and then next thing you know, they'll stand on the opposite side of the fence, and it's like,
right.
wow,
They telling
I
on you,
thought you right, I thought you thought you were with us,
right?
you
No,
know.
that's yeah. Those are the people. They're not with you, but they're befriending you to be against you the whole entire time and stab you
Mm-hmm.
in the back. As a matter of fact, it was a song. What was that song? I can't think.
Backstabbers.
Backstabbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, plenty of that.
Smiling in your face
Right,
all the while, they're stabbing you in the back,
right,
backstabbing. Don't get me
right.
started, bro. I get down now.
I can
Arrest
see
your
you
ass.
now in your. I can see you now in your purple suit.
That's right. That's right. You know, my purple suit, and then I turn around and I got to get a stogie to get the voice right.
Right, right,
Me.
right, right.
But yeah, but the key to all of this and the bottom line of all of
OJs,
it.
OJs. Oh
There
my,
you
oh
go.
my. Yeah, it said the OJs.
Thank you,
Yeah,
brother. Oh,
yeah.
exactly. But the key to all of this is that not only do you have to understand, and it's a big thing. It's why we always say it's not a hobby; it's a lifestyle. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said the same thing. They said, you know, when you get into this hobby, you got to realize it's expensive. And I said, what hobby are you talking about? He said, you know, when you start buying guns. I said, oh, you mean like collecting?
Yeah,
He said,
that's
well, you
expensive.
know, I do everything. I do a little bit of everything. No, you can't do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I have a few guns. When he said he was collecting, I said, well, how many? He said, like, oh, yeah, I got about 10. That's a collection. Oh,
That's
okay, okay, okay. So, yeah, I said, I understand. I said, but it has to become a lifestyle.
right.
I said, if you decide that you're going to defend your family, that's not a hobby. You don't play with your family. You got
Mm-hmm.
to get serious. You got to get serious about this because ultimately, and this is one of the things that it comes down to firearms and the Second Amendment, part of the ownership is the hobby, collecting. Those are ownership. Those people own guns. Second Amendment, you're willing to defend yourself. That means you're willing to kill somebody. That's the defense that we're
Or
talking
die.
about.
Or die.
Well, I ain't dying. I don't
Yeah.
think that way. And people know me like you heard me say to you
Right.
before. I'll kill for you, but I
Right.
ain't dying for nobody. If you get me, you get me. But it ain't. I didn't show up here to die. I
Right.
ain't
Right.
dying for nobody. I'll kill
Right.
for you. If I
Right.
love you, I'll kill for you. But I
Right.
don't die for nobody.
Right. 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 Well, you
And
know
if
what
I
I mean.
die, I'm going out kicking and screaming.
You know what I mean. I'm just not
Hmm.
gonna say.
Right.
We
Well, I
talked.
mean,
Yeah.
you all right? You know, we keep a lot of stuff to ourselves when we express it on the range to our clients and students. But for real, if you get into it, you might as well forget that you even breathing anymore because at that point,
Mhm.
you either gonna do it or you're not gonna do it.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Omar said he understood both.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and so that goes back to firearm ownership.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're owning a firearm for just keepsake? Just because when you said that conversation the other day, firearms are the new Jordan sneakers.
Oh my God. You got
You know,
people waiting in line to pick them up. You know, waiting in line to buy a gun, and it's like, are you kidding me? You know, it's a fat accessory. That's what
right?
it's become. It's become an accessory. You know, when you see people who say, I don't like guns, but I need one because of what's going on. No, you don't. You need to stay home. You need to
Right,
stay away from big
right,
crowds. You don't
right.
need a gun. You don't need
Don't
a
go to
gun.
big crowds. Go to those stupid places. Don't be arguing because first
Mm-hmm.
thing, because we know with that firearms ownership, what's going to happen is that ego is going to come out,
Right.
and there you go. Um, trying to you won't back down from somebody just talking smack,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then you're going to end up losing your Second Amendment rights over something stupid,
Right.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really not worth it.
It's not.
So I recommend everybody go out there and read the Constitution and understand what the Second Amendment is all about, and um, know the words of it, what it actually says, and then look into yourself and say, "Hey, am I doing my part of supporting the Second Amendment? Am I doing my part to try to preserve our country to become to still be a republic and
Mm-hmm.
not a democracy?" Because
Right.
a democracy, we will lose the Second Amendment. We lose the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
because democracy is mob rule.
Right.
That's what it means.
And
That
we see
means
that all
all
the time.
right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there he is.
Oh, he changed his name. Is
Yeah.
that the same Joe?
Uh,
It's a new guy, Brent C.
yeah.
How you doing,
How
Brent?
you
Good
doing?
evening.
How you doing? Good evening.
Yep. He's on
And
YouTube. Okay.
so that's what you have to look at. And so what's happening is people who are in California and various other places who are moving to free states and voting
Mm-hmm.
for the
The same
same
way they. Yep.
crap
There you go.
that they just left.
Mm-hmm.
They come to it, and it doesn't make sense to me because I ask every single one of them, "Why you move here?"
Right.
And well, they got good jobs, the housing is cheap, cost of living is cheap. So why are you still voting the same way?
Right.
And so you're voting the
It, it,
same way.
all that
Yeah,
stuff got that way because of our politicians and
right.
the people who are here. And now, not only do we have oversaturation, with too many people here, and then on top of that, a free state where firearms were a part of the culture, quote unquote, no matter who you are, as part of the culture if you live in the state of Georgia. You got people here that don't like guns, and now they're
Hmm.
going to vote that way.
Right. Yeah,
And
we
that's the
have
scary part.
Hollywood that came
Mm-hmm.
from California to Georgia, and the Hollywood people, as soon as they came to the state, the first thing they started complaining about was firearms. It was
Yep.
crazy. It's
Yep.
like we're not even having problems here with firearms. So why are you guys coming here complaining about firearms when there's not a problem?
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
doesn't make sense.
Nope.
But that's what's happening, and the Hollywood elites,
But you know something about that? They come in with that big money,
yeah,
right? They come in that big money. They get a huge tax break from state of Georgia, and now they're trying to
trying to
make kids
flex with
their
it.
way. They do, oh, definitely.
Right,
They're gonna flex
right.
after you get the money. I mean, there's been a couple of politicians here in the state of Georgia that threaten to take that back, take that tax break back,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
yeah,
wow. Oh
and
good.
then the politics. That's the only way they can snap back at them because they know it's
Right,
big money,
right.
and they're bringing their folks in here, and they're all mental of let the government protect us. And I want to let everybody know. I'm gonna say it again before we finish. Ain't nobody coming to help you.
No.
Nobody. You either help
Yeah.
yourself or you find your
Yeah.
demise.
Right. Right.
Omar recognized because I'm trying to find all the right words with this Twitch stream.
Yeah, you gotta not
These
say the
ain't
wrong.
my regular words, folks. But I'm doing great because
Yeah.
this guy told me don't use those words
Well, yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah. I have to. Yeah.
Yeah,
when
so
you when we're on the range, like if I'm on that backfield right there, then I'm
right,
standing by those barrels, then I talk a different way.
I do. It's funny because I'm hearing myself kind of like
Laughing.
exactly. So I have to
Yeah.
make sure that G-rated, and maybe I'm sounding a
Right.
little bit more intelligent tonight. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, you have to use certain words, but we
Exactly.
are we are going to touch on. Um, um, we just talked about it, the buffalo thing,
Mm-hmm.
and but before we do that, we're going to take a short break and talk about our sponsor here real quick. And let's stand by, everybody. And boom. Can't find when I want it. I can't read that and do this at the same time. Yes, that's exactly right. All right, here we go. My God, I gotta
Yeah,
get that.
it's one of those things, man. It's one of those shows where everything's
Yeah,
going to be a little slow.
yeah, it's acting crazy.
But Saber Team Tactical is our sponsor for the night, and they provide one-on-one training, basic firearms training for self-defense. And I'm telling you, if you're already experienced shooter, you will be challenged. If you're new to shooting, you will be instructed and educated. The way we run our classes, we don't treat people like children. We treat people as adults because that's what mostly in our class. Even the young people that we get kids over 10 years old can attend with a parent. And when we train to the individual. We don't just have one big blueprint, and if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, next time. No, we literally talk directly to you. We don't spend time with people who need more training, and this person's new, so I got to go down here and help this. Nope. We treat everybody the same, and everybody gets it on the same level. We give the same amount of attention to the guy that's, shooting everything under par, and we give that same information to the person that's brand new that needs some help. So that's it.
Yeah. So we got some classes coming up, and the first one's June 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Basic firearms training, self defense.
Yep. And
Um,
let me, I'm sorry, Al. On that class, I forgot to put this in. We're doing 10 people in that class, and we're already halfway there. So
okay.
that way, I like to be able to concentrate on individuals. As I just said, I don't want to have to run up and down the line because I'm helping one person more than the other. So if somebody's really getting all the information, and they're shooting their little drills under time and things like that. I don't want to just exclude that person. Let's get faster. Let's move that person faster. So we're doing it 10. It'll be two of us out there, and everybody's getting 1-on-1, 1-to-5 instruction ratio.
Hmm. And I might be on the range out there at another tactical bay that same day. So we'll see. We'll see later on because I have another class I'll probably be teaching that day. So I'll probably see you out there that day.
That's cool.
But if it's too hot, I'm not coming out. Next class we got is June 19th. Shotgun and self-defense class.
Yep, that's gonna be fun.
That's an excellent class.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get to learn about shotguns. And
semi or pump, don't matter.
Yep, that's right. Yep, you get to shoot some targets with shotgun, and bring your shotgun out, and we'll show you how to work it. You know, so that's a fun class, very fun. All right, so let's kill this. All right, so yeah, good night, Brent
C.
Yep.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yep. So we'll talk about New York. Buffalo, New York. What happened? We were going to come on live that evening, but we just couldn't get it together, and personal things. And but I saw the video that took place. Then there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks running around saying what they would have done, and I want to tell people, with a pistol going up against a rifle, it's not a winning situation. That rifle has the reach, has the distance, and the accuracy. And that's something you're not going to have with that pistol. And you're not going to have that knockdown power with that pistol either, especially with somebody wearing armor, lower, and a helmet. You have to pinpoint your shot into a small open area, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is to get close.
Yep. And on top of that, what you just said, just to add on, that takes time.
Yes.
With a pistol, when you're talking about pinpoint accuracy, that's going to take time, and that's time is of the essence. You don't have no time.
Right. The way this guy was moving, he was not moving with. He was not taking his time.
He wasn't wasting time. He wasn't wasting no time.
I mean, he saw what he saw, and he got down on it. And to see the way he did it was the same way I. So it's pretty bad to see it, what he was doing, but it was a learning thing for me to understand. If you're not immediately next to this guy, if you see an active shooter, if you're not immediately next to them and they have the distance on you with that rifle, you need to be seeking cover immediately. Especially what we're seeing today, guys are coming out there with training.
Yep.
And they're looking at soft targets as a game, and so they're pumping you with. I mean, he hit everybody with 3 rounds and went back and hit them again with 3 more rounds. How you gonna survive that?
You can't. You can't.
No.
And that's why all these armchair, Monday morning quarterbacks. Whew, I'm just gonna say you can kiss it. You're full of it, and everybody that would have did something different other than die, you're lying.
We had a guy that did. We had a guy that did.
Yeah, but let me explain something that I say it a different way, and I like the way you said it, so I started using your way. There's no training for a gunfight. There's no time training for a gunfight. All right, if you get that, see that. But then again, as you say, Omar, find an angle and wait or find cover. That's if you're not the first barrage. All right. If you're paying for groceries or you at a Radio, no, they don't have Radio Shacks anymore. Damn, I keep using these old references. If you're at Best Buy and you're making your purchase, and as you're making your purchase, there it is. Boom. Now what?
Right. What are you
That's
gonna
what I'm
do?
talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm talking about.
You
That
you
is the
got
craziest.
yeah, you got to figure out if you're hit, if
Mm-hmm.
you're not hit, where it come from, what direction,
Right.
and how fast it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And now think
And
about it. You're in a mode of having a conversation with somebody about, would you like the service warranty? Do I want a service warranty? Would you like a credit card? Do I need another credit card?
right.
Just like that. That's what's happening. That's
Right.
what these guys don't understand. It's not 1, 2, 3 on your mark, get set, go.
And
You're standing there doing something that normal people do,
check
and all
this
of a
out.
sudden it's there.
How many people here know what a firearm sounds like without earmuffs?
Exactly.
In a closed room,
Mm-hmm.
what do it sound like?
Right.
It doesn't sound like what you think it's going to
Nope.
sound like. Because you got to remember, your ears are going to automatically muffle
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to be deafening you a little bit.
Yep. You're not going to hear it.
No.
That clap that you hear is it, but it's not going to be
Yeah.
that crisp firecracker pop that people say.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, that was a AK. I could tell from
Right.
you 100 yards away, and you tell me that's an AK. Okay, yeah, I could tell that was a 38. You could tell the difference between
Right.
38 and 9mm. Oh, okay, yeah, that's 357. So you can
Right.
tell the difference between 38 and 357. Woo, you're really good.
Now,
Shut the hell up.
you got to look at the response from your ear
Mm-hmm.
to your brain, and then you got to take from your brain and try to analyze what you can visually see or smell. You know, because you're trying to smell powder if he's close, or you can try to visually see. That's going to take a couple of seconds for that to go through your ear to your brain and for you back to your eyesight for you to start responding. Majority of the people, they're just going to look around first.
Mm-hmm.
They're not react.
Right. And
You
at
know?
that point, you might be a sitting duck.
You might be in it.
Yep. Because if you stand in the doorway or any entrance area, and that person is making an entrance, and you're standing there, you're done.
Yeah.
There's no time to process that.
Right.
It really isn't. I mean, I really like to tell you that it's I let you know I got my buzzer. Stand by. Shooter ready. You understand the cause of fire? Yes, I do. I'm ready for that. But it doesn't work like that.
No, because he's coming in battle ready.
Mm-hmm.
You have to unconceal.
And highly motivated.
You got to unconceal, grab, then find your target and engage.
Right.
So that's a lot.
And don't forget recon. This guy did recon way before he came in there, so he knew where he was going.
That place.
He knew where he was going.
Right.
See, this is the thing that now you're involved. The last time with Kenosha Kid did it, and I was breaking down the fact that, oh, look at how he moved, and people were offended because they were emotionally attached. And I told them it's not about the emotions at this point. We got to learn from this. And if you can't learn from this, then people who have sacrificed are just gone. And that might ain't got nothing to do with Wisconsin. I'm talking about Buffalo. You have to learn from this. You have to be able to fortify yourself and build, understand. If you get lucky to hear it first, to get the hell out of there. Don't be in the same spot you were last. That's the first key, is don't stand still. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is not a post-hate world. We don't live in that, and it doesn't matter who's doing the hating. It really doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah. So it's people say what's the thing those guys always use? What is it? I do it automatically. What's the word? You know what I'm talking about.
Situational awareness.
Yes, everybody's like, you gotta have your situational awareness down, and then you're gonna let it go down a couple of times. Now I use it a lot because I've made it my lifestyle. I even do it when I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I do it when I'm driving, I know I do it when I'm walking. I know I do it when I'm standing still. I do it all the time. But that is me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if I'm distracted by something, or what if I'm holding a conversation with somebody? Now my situation awareness is not running at 80 to 90%. It's only going to be running at maybe about 40% because I'm trying to engage the conversation with them. I'm trying to engage and watch what's going on around me. So I'm still at a disadvantage
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah.
For me, what I look at it as, and when I break it down for folks, is situational awareness is just watching who watches you. Watch,
Mm-hmm.
look around, see what's going on around you. This big name and little title came from the military, which then transferred into law enforcement, and then civilians are getting a hold of it now, and it's just a big thing. Oh, his situational awareness. The guy
Right.
got sucker punched. He
Right.
got sucker punched. He was
Right.
talking to a dude that was talking friendly, and then that guy just reached out and punched him. What was situational awareness? That boy, and when I watched those videos, he needed spider senses. He needed that Spider
It's
Man sense.
nothing you can do about
There's nothing you
something.
can do about that.
Right.
You got to get your situational awareness.
Right.
It's not. That's not situational
Right.
awareness.
I
Situational awareness in a real classic situation is walking down the street, looking ahead, and seeing guys who are standing on the corner. And as you approach, they put their hoods on their head. If you keep walking down that same street, you're the fool. That's what
oh,
situational awareness.
here's one better.
Things
Well,
that change is what situational awareness is all
well,
about,
people
and you
do it.
adapt to it.
People do situational awareness all the time when they drive,
Yeah,
and
mhm.
it's called anticipating someone's action.
That's another way.
And
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And that's it. It's not a big holy moly. It's scary. I want to have situational awareness. I'm going to take a class for situational awareness. That's the one that made me laugh. Is a guy presenting a class to learn how to learn
situation.
situational awareness, and I
Right.
said, "Wow! So all this time you've been dumb." Like
Right.
basically, is what it comes
Right.
down to. Is like you've been blind, and you now need somebody to teach you how to pay attention to the world.
Right.
And like
Right.
what you just, the analogy you use, driving a car,
Right.
anticipating that car in front of you hitting the brakes so you don't get on them, where you're only 3 feet off their bumper. You give them some space and a reactionary gap in between you and that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hit the wrong button. Took
Yeah, I
myself.
saw that. I saw that little. I was going. A little move face came up, and I was
I was trying to,
like,
I was trying to end the share and hit the video and stop. I'm like, oh, okay. We do it live. That's why
"Yeah,
it's live.
we're
It is
live,
live.
unscripted,
Right.
and we're learning on a regular basis."
Right. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a two-man show here. So,
Yep,
but
exactly. We don't have a producer. Anybody interested in producing, hit us up.
I don't think they can.
404-692-0561.
I don't think they can with this. With this.
We
With this
could do
application.
6 people. We could get up to 6 people on it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You are right. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, situational awareness. You can't learn this in a classroom. They can tell you how to do it. You can read it in a book, but it's got to be
Left
something.
of Bang. That was the best book that I read about it. Left
Never
of
heard of
Bang. You never heard of it? It's two Marine guys that came back from not
Vietnam.
Afghanistan, the one before that, and they basically taught Marine guys who was going door to door. I don't know what units they were, but the guys going door to
Mhm.
door, what to look for in things
In the
that are
playroom.
happening to them. Right. So guys sitting in a car and watching them. The same thing I was just
Oh,
said.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Watch who's watching you. Guys sitting in the car, and as you get closer to him, he may start the car, or he may act like he's sleeping, but you just saw him looking at you. Those kind of things. The clothing that people wear, the classic one that most police officers learn when they're in the academy is the guy, 80-degree weather, and he's got on a winter coat.
Right.
And
Yeah.
because he's trying to conceal, like a firearm.
Speaking of that, I saw a guy like that yesterday, and it was weird. The guy was wearing a leather jacket. I was like, "What the heck?" I was driving and I saw it, so I knew he was armed to the teeth, and I just kept right on driving. I was just,
man, damn.
I mean, you wearing a leather jacket, and it was like
And I know
80.
you noticed them because you hot. You hot
Yeah,
already. It's too
yeah.
hot for you. It's too hot
I
for
got
you, and it's just May.
right. I got my air conditioner cranked up.
Exactly. So I know if you see something like that, you just go, "What the hell?"
Right. So it was, and he was standing around a couple of other people, and they didn't notice it. Didn't
Oh
pay
yeah,
attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see what Omar says, and that's when
What's up?
it hits the fan. Is at that point you have to allow yourself, and the two of us have spoken about this before. You got to get to that berserko area,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point you feel no pain because, and you don't think about anything. At that point, it's just reaction because
Yeah.
if you're in the mix and you starting to think too much, you thinking too wrong and too long.
Right. So
Don't do that.
it all should become natural.
Mm-hmm.
It and it should be a part of your daily routine. Just like most of you guys get up in the morning, you drink coffee. I can't stand coffee. And
Are you a
uh,
tea guy? Are you English?
I drink water, man. That's all I drink.
Oh, you
I
one of
mean,
those.
I mean a spot of water in the morning.
You one of those.
A shot, I have it in a shot glass.
Oh man, so you're tough guy water drinker.
Right. And um, if you have a routine, you should have a routine when you go to work, when you go to the grocery store, when you get in your car. I mean, how many of you guys get in your car? First thing you do is lock your doors. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that and start swiveling your head around, soon as before you even get to your car, you should swivel your head around.
Right.
How many of you guys come home and you drive your car in your garage, open your garage door open, drive your car in the garage, and don't and keep the car running, and don't uh and close the garage door behind you while you're still in the car locked in? How many of you guys get out of the car with the garage door open, then have yourself exposed?
Mm-hmm.
See, certain things you got to do. That should be a lifestyle. I even train my wife to do it that way. Don't get out of the car until that garage door closed. You
Right.
know, so it's certain things you got to do.
And you got to know also when you're speaking about that in your home, you have to pay attention to your neighborhood. So as you were just saying, you have somebody come through, and you just go willy nilly into the house, and you may have ridden right past them, and as you
Hmm.
ride past them, they are waiting it there and wait for you to open that garage, and they run right in right, but while you're still in the car.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Called
Yeah.
creature habits. Yeah.
Yep.
That.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, and that means a lot because now that becomes innate, and that's what we're looking for. Is like you change your style to survive, and that's
Basically,
all it is. It's just
basically,
survival.
you're uh, you're not.
See with this Twitch thing, you got to use all these different words.
I know. I was about to say something,
Mm-hmm. I
and
know you were.
so you got to turn yourself from being a prey to a predator
Mm-hmm.
without actually being a predator. That's self control,
Yep.
And so if you can do that and still keep your sanity,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
it takes.
what you
Hmm?
just said about the sanity part, and Omar and I've talked this also with Reggie. At that point, that's the mindset, right? So your
Mhm,
mindset is going to set you apart from everybody else. So you may not be, happy-go-lucky guy, and it's not that you're not happy-go-lucky. You just don't express that out in public to everybody willy-nilly.
right.
So it's one of those situations where this lifestyle, Second Amendment, and firearms ownership combined should alter your style. For a classic example is having a firearm on you and not telling anybody,
Hmm.
having a firearm on you and not exposing it by wearing it in your pocket or wearing
Right.
your holster attached to the pocket because you want other people to see that you have a firearm. We've been doing this for 100 years, probably combined. The four people that's on Saber Team, 100 years, never seen any of that. Never seen any of that. And I'm not saying that we're the stellar to star marks or that you should follow us, but we do the right thing. And it's called concealed carry in the state of Georgia. So those are the things that I know somebody could take a situational awareness class, and if you wear a firearm in your pocket
They're
in
gonna
your
see it.
jeans pants, you're an idiot. There's no
Mhm,
situational awareness at all. Because if you were to be in a situation like we were just talking about in Buffalo, you'd be one of the first ones to go. Because
mhm.
you're opposition right off the top. You didn't drive in with me, So that means you're on the opposite side.
Right.
Simple as that. It's simple as
And,
that. Simplicity.
and he did recon. He probably knew that security guard was there, and he
And he probably
probably,
saw that he had a little age on him,
yeah.
and he saw what he was wearing. He probably,
Mhm.
I don't know yet. I haven't found out. I looked for it a little bit, and I didn't reach out to people that I know because I'm waiting for it to settle in a little bit and see, what the real details are. If the guy actually did get off any shots, or if he had the security guard, was he wearing a vest? A lot of these guys work these side jobs and they don't wear vests. Nothing ever happens.
Well,
And
if he was wearing a regular uh,
yeah, well,
Kevlar vest, it's not going to hold up against
right.
a 5.56.
Yeah,
Look
I
up that
got that. But I
like
mean, it's still the preparation and the mindset kind of give you the idea because the guy had just, I think he had been maybe 25, 30 years, something like that, a
hmm
veteran. He had plenty of time. So a lot of times you get complacent. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. So just think about how you're going to react in that that area. We do talk about how to react in an active shooter scenario, and that's another show. So we'll do another show on that. But you have to remember, self-preservation comes first.
Yep.
Don't try to be the hero. Only person you need to be the hero for is you or your loved ones if you're with them, if
Mm-hmm.
they're with you.
Yep.
And your primary job at that point is to protect them if they're with you at all costs.
Yep.
That
And you also got
every
to remember that area of control and span that you capable of. If you've never made a shot at 25 yards away, there's no need for you to take that shot. At that point, you need to find some cover. If 15 yards is your thing, then that's your area that you should start engaging.
right. But if you have no place to go and he's coming to that choke point, try to get him in that choke
Mm-hmm.
point, and you're just gonna have to unleash everything you got.
Yep.
But it's gonna have to be an element of surprise. He
Mm-hmm.
cannot know you're there.
Right.
And remember, it's not a center mass shot anymore. It's you need to come up toward the face. So in order to do that,
Run. I tell you, because most of these people can't hit no headshot. That's a
it's a
eight 8 inch plate,
8-inch
pie
plate,
plate.
right?
Yeah, at 10
It's
yards,
it's
you'd be
difficult.
right. But
Yeah.
that's what I tell them. The body is wide. Pelvic
Well,
pelvic
well,
girdle.
it's
There's no vest
difficult.
on the pelvic girdle.
It's which is true. It's
Mm-hmm.
difficult when the pucker factor is 0.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Ooh, you
and
said pucker.
uh, and
That's how I feel talking on Twitch. I feel like
yeah.
I'm back in 8th grade. Ooh, you said pucker.
And I can't say what I was
I
going to say.
know. I know.
I was about to say something else, man. I can think it, but I was like, ah, better not. And so the pucker factor, now you got your adrenaline pumping.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got somebody that you just saw take down somebody, and they're coming your way, and you next.
Mm-hmm.
So now all that's happening at once on you, and it's going to feel like a surreal feeling, because one of the things you got to think about now was, I trained to get on these sites,
Right.
or should I just pull the
Point and shoot.
trigger,
Mm-hmm.
point and shoot?
Yep.
And now your gun might be pointed to the right or to the left, and you put 17 rounds that way, and you look good,
Mm-hmm.
but you miss.
Right. You do that thing from Pulp Fiction.
Right.
You
And
shoot a halo.
right, and then you're going to be wearing a halo right
Mm-hmm.
after that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you gotta, if you can't react under a stressful situation and get behind the sights under stress, and you don't think you can do that, take a class.
Yep.
You
Take
have
a
to take a
class.
class.
Yep. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to stress yourself in order to figure out what you can and cannot do.
And the reason why we say take a class, because when fear hits a person first thing that their mind will do is take over from the training that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you had no training, you're going to do what you saw in the movies, you know,
Hmm.
and it is one of two things: fight or flight
Or the third one is freeze. Do nothing
or
at all.
freeze. Yeah, I forgot to freeze them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to freeze them. Yeah,
Do nothing at all.
yeah,
And that's just human nature. There's nothing you can do about it, well, other than train. When you
right.
train, you respond. When you don't train, you freeze or you flee. Because if fleeing, I'm gonna tell you this: fleeing is actually a better action than freezing, because at least you're actively doing something.
Hmm.
We, as tough guys and men of training and saber team tactical guys, we don't want to do. We don't want to freeze. We don't want to flee. We want to fight. And that's great. That's what we train for. But I tell you, if you flee, and even if you flee to a short position or a fallback retreat to an area where you can be behind cover, that's what it is.
Right. That's right. Non-what combatants. Yeah, it was a
No,
soft target.
no,
Very,
and he
very
knew
soft.
that. He
Yeah.
knew that. That's the key.
Right.
He knew that. They all
Right.
froze, and they were terrified because
They
they
froze.
never they in their wildest dreams they don't live this life. They don't
Right.
live the thought pattern of what if. That's not who they are. They are,
Because
I'm going to get a cake for my granddaughter. They are, people who worked in the soup kitchens for 30 years.
right.
Dude, I listened to that thing and it really hit me, because these are just regular people. They're
Yeah.
not like you and I. And that's where the old adage I don't hear as much anymore about the sheepdogs. You don't hear too much because there was so much, oh, the sheepdog. I'm sure you're going to help people. And okay, whatever. But there are sheepdogs out there. They're not all police officers. They're not all EMTs. They're not all military veterans. They're just regular guys that are out there and they're willing to help other people.
Yeah. Like I said, it caused
Hmm.
shock. It did because when the first person was hit, um, there was
It
a
was
person at
immediate
the
though.
car,
Yep.
huh,
Yeah. Yeah.
behind it,
Hmm.
and that person stood there and watched.
Yep.
And the two other people came out of the supermarket. They stood there and watched.
Hmm.
And all those people were engaged. Then there were people in the window watching. They were
Yep.
engaged too. And so,
The people don't believe that this can happen to
yeah,
them, bro.
there
It
there was shock.
Right.
Yeah,
It's shock, and we don't live in that society. Really, with all the violence that goes on in America on a regular basis, this ain't Ukraine. We've never been invaded.
right.
Think about it. I mean, other than Pearl Harbor, and you could go back to the 1800s, and the Spanish came through here. But let's talk about realistic modern day times. The North America hasn't been invading, from Mexico to Canada.
Right.
We've never been invaded. We don't live in that fear mindset of some other sovereign nation coming to us and saying, "Hey, we want this. We want New York." We probably say, "Take it," but nonetheless,
Right.
we never had anybody land on New York and say, "We
Take all
now
the
this is ours."
take all the cockroaches too.
The big ass rats. Ooh,
Well,
I
you can
didn't mean
cut.
it, Twitch.
It's certain cuss words. They didn't get
Oh, you didn't
offended.
tell me that part. You didn't tell me
Right.
that part.
Well, no, I didn't. I did that on purpose.
Because I will abuse it.
Uh, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Because of the buffer, regular citizens don't feel like they're in danger. Right.
Never.
Because we
Hmm.
are born with freedom.
Yep.
And
That's
when you're
part of it.
born with freedom, you have no fear of anything's going to have happen to you.
Let me give you this last one. The
Yeah.
most corrupt, I'm gonna say the most corrupt police organizations in probably in the United States do
Yeah.
not compare to anything
Yeah.
as corrupt to other countries.
Yeah.
Well, New York police are not that corrupt. Louisiana police are more corrupt than New York State police, because
Oh, wow.
Louisiana police don't make no money, so they got to find a way to at least put food on the table. That was the
Mm.
biggest thing. Up until like 97, 98, Louisiana cops' average pay was $18,000 starting pay.
I was like
And
that in Columbus, Georgia.
well, same thing, but you mean those are little small places. We're talking about New Orleans police, like a
Mm-hmm.
big city like New Orleans. So that is Mexico's prime and important example, right? So
Yeah.
places in this country, and what happened is, our government and media has allowed people to believe that the police will be there to save you. Then, if you read the Supreme Court rulings, it will show and tell you that the police have no responsibility to the individual citizen.
That's right.
If you read that, then you understand why the Second Amendment is so important, and training and being able to defend your family is most paramount.
Right.
Now I'm finished.
Right. And that's it. And thank you for watching, everybody. There he is. He came in there anyway.
You know he's gonna come soon enough.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being on the show. Remember, like, subscribe, and share, because these videos will be up after we come off the air, and people can watch them after and just talk, comment, do whatever. And there he is. He said Zach. So, hi Zach. So, like I said, well, thank you for the support, and thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. You got anything else?
Yep. Come out and train with us. We offer classes. We participate. We're out there at South River Gun Club if you're available and you want to come out there and you see us. We've got those new flags coming out too. That's the other thing. So check us out. You see us, come by, say hi.
Right. All right. And we'll see you guys on the range.
See you on the range, guys.